Welcome to UND Insider Weekly alongside Brad Schlossman and Tom Miller from the Grand Forks Herald and Ryan Powell from UND Athletics. I'm Tim Hennessy. Fun weekend at Ralph Engelstad Arena this past weekend, guys, when North Dakota swept Colorado College in the first round of the NCHC playoffs to move on to the Frozen Faceoff. And it wasn't easy, however. And Brad, let's get your opinion first on North Dakota's symmetry, shall we say, from since they lost Mark McMillan. Just not quite there yet, is it?
No, they're still trying to figure things out. They've been switching lines. They haven't been clicking like they were before when McMillan was playing. And I mean, they had those lines together for a month and a half. They hadn't changed anything, so they really had their line set, and they're still trying to find things. And now they have 2 games to find something before the NCAA tournament this year. So we'll see how this weekend goes. But
obviously, the effort's still there, Tom. Yeah. I mean, that was there, the compete level and everything else over the weekend. I mean, there's any doubt about that. It's just a matter of
yeah, and I think, we probably expected that a little bit based on the results that Colorado College produced the last time they were at the Ralph. Kind of interesting that a team that only won, one road game all year has put up such a fight at the Ralph against UND. I think it's kind of incredible how small that margin of victory is. There's a puck that's hanging out in the crease that Troy Stetcher clears at the last second, and maybe that's the difference on Saturday night. And, maybe we're talking about a game 3 otherwise. So it's kind of something we've harped on all year, I guess, is the NCHC and the margin of difference between a 1 seed and an 8 seed isn't that different.
This team keeps finding ways to win, though. I mean, it's just incredible how, like you were saying, there's not a big margin, but their record is indicative of a team that does have a big margin. So they have all these close games, and they've just had a knack this year for finding ways to win at the end of games. And here's a game that's tied in a minute and 30 seconds to go, and they make a play, all-around good play. Bryn Chizik with a nice chip, and then Pagansky with the saucer pass. And it's not easy to go top-shelf backhand one-timer like Connor Gorder did, but he's it's that time of year. It's Connor Gorder's time of year, I guess.
Well, that's just it. When you look at the team, that line would be, I guess, I don't know, were they listed 4th? I'm not sure. They might have been.
I think they're listed
4th.
3rd this weekend, but they have been 4th for a while.
But Bryn Chizik makes a nice anticipation play to pinch it off on the boards, and then the nice touch pass through to Pagansky, and then and then Connor Gorder to be on the forehand with Cody Bradley right on him, and he knows he's not going to get a one-time off of that situation because Bradley's going to tie his stick up.
Yep.
He shields him with his body and gets the one-time backhand. Wow. I mean, it was just a great play by 3 guys that probably are not going to play in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, and if he doesn't go top shelf with that, I think the goalie makes the save. He was coming over from left to right there to make the save, and Connor Gorder goes top shelf, and now he has 4 game winners in their last 5 wins, 4 game winners in their last 6 games, which is incredible. In the last 7 games, in the last 24 days, Connor Gorder has more goals than the University of Wisconsin. So there's a stat.
That's a whole other story. You were there, Ryan, this weekend?
I saw Saturday's game. I did. I felt the same way. You're going up against a team who, even despite their record, it's seniors. Might be their last college hockey game. They're going to give it their all up there, and they did. And I mean, it was impressive, like you said. Just the first goal, O'Donnell. That's a good hockey play. Just one time, and then you get Gorder doing what he did.
Nothing wrong with that, right?
No, it was impressive.
Brad, what do you think they have? Who are the key guys that have to step up here at this point, to use the old phrase, step up? But in my mind, the 2 guys are Michael Parks and Drake Cajula.
Well, those are the guys
who start making a difference where in the last 3-4 games really happened.
Yeah, those are the guys who you look to, they're big scorers. Those are their top 2 scorers. And, Michael Parks is probably the number 1 guy affected by Mark McMillan's departure. He has played with them for essentially 4 years. Yeah. I mean, they've played very few games on different lines. So I think of anyone, he's the guy that's trying to adjust the most. And I think you've noticed it a little bit in his game. And if they can get him going, that'll help. Drake Cajula, they can get him going, that'll help. And right now, also the impressive part is those guys aren't scoring and they're still winning. These guys have very few points in the last 6 games and they're 5-1. So they're finding ways to win once again, even without their leading scorers putting the puck in the net.
Just find a way to win. That's all you got to do. The women's basketball team will be playing more postseason That's a postseason action.
Yep.
After finishing losing in the opening round of the Big Sky Conference tournament to Northern Colorado and losing with 6 of their last 7 or 7 out of 8, whatever it is. Brian, you're as close as anybody here on to that program. What's going on there? What went on?
It's kind of baffling
to say the least.
Yeah, and who knows, but what we do know is they do have a fresh season coming up on Wednesday at New Mexico, and they've been down there for a few days, and maybe they can get together and recollect and just press the reset button and see what happens against a good team in New Mexico. But it's just, basketball's been funny around here this year. The guys were in a tailspin, the women were in a tailspin, and it's just kind of hard to put your finger on exactly what went on there.
Tom, Coach Brewster says it's been the slow starts that have been, but somehow you have to determine why there's a slow start, or is that why coaches make big money because they figure that out, and sometimes you can't figure it out?
I think it's an interesting box score when you looked at that North Dakota, Northern Colorado box score, because I said here before they went that they needed to get secondary scoring, and they basically got that. They had 5 players in double figures. You land 5 players in double figures, you'd think you'd win a game. I think where it came back to is they consistently down the stretch, they weren't out rebounding people by enough to offset the fact that they were losing the turnover ratio so bad. I think it was 17-7, 17 turnovers for UND, 7 for Northern Colorado. That number has to be closer to even for this team, or any team really, to have consistent success. So I think they need to do a better job of taking care of the basketball, and maybe they can start doing that against New Mexico here.
In the postseason tournament, WBI. Baseball team went out to Cal Riverside and won a couple of games and lost the final one of that, but a couple of impressive wins. Ryan, what's been most impressive to you? To me, it's been the offense that this team's been able to generate when you're not able to go outside and hit balls.
Yeah, that's the thing around here. You get to hit in a cage for 6 weeks and try to get ready for it, and then no, not at all. But like you said, Cal Riverside, they're coached by a former major leaguer in Troy Percival, and they go out there and get 2 big wins and get the series win. Now they get a little momentum going into, I know they play Dickinson State down in Tucson on Tuesday or yesterday, but it's going to be that way again. They start whack play, and it's going to come down to pitching, though. If they can get those top 3 guys to get it going, then that'll be good.
And then they start the WAC conference season against Grand Canyon State. Is it Grand Canyon State or just Grand Canyon?
I think it's just Grand Canyon.
Just Grand Canyon. Yep. Softball team had a nice little trip to Oxford, Ohio, and the Miami Invitational, Tom, and won a couple of games there, huh?
Yeah, they believe they've matched their win total from a year ago, so they're off to a pretty good start under a first-year head coach in Jordan Stevens. So, a very, very young team. Looking there at the roster today, they got a lot of freshmen and sophomores on that squad, and they got a few of them hitting pretty well early on here.
Starting pitches, the starters are both freshmen, correct?
I think so.
I think that's, and that can really help experience as they go along in the season, I would think.
And looking at their box scores, I'll never forget Jordan Stevens coming in on his interview. He's like, I just like to hit the long ball. Like it's all about home runs. And you look at the box scores in every game, there's a girl hitting a 2-run homer.
Freshman with 9 home runs already this year, I believe.
That's incredible.
Well, you're going to bring fans in to watch if you're not doing the dinking and dunking and that type of thing that a lot of times you see in softball. So I salute him for that take on his game. Up next, 4 months after ending the season with 2 strong wins, UND football is turning the page to start spring football. Assistant coach Kevin Maurice joins us in the Coach's Corner next.
We live in such a fast-paced world. It's always go, go, go. When I'm out for a run, it's my time. It's the best way to start your day. Crossing the line of that marathon, it's the biggest reward you can get. I want my customers to achieve their goals and go above and beyond. I'm Nikki Ladegi, and I'm one of the running experts at Shields.
Cities Area Transit. We go where you go.
Did you know that riding the city bus is free for UND and Northland students?
I ride the bus so I don't have to find a parking spot, and then I'm always within an easy walking distance to all of my classes.
I'm going green, so I ride my bike everywhere. But when the weather turns bad, I take the bus. And why not? It's free.
Cities Area Transit. Enjoy the ride.
Islanders.
Wasn't close.
Islanders, man.
Join us for the UND Champions Ball, benefiting UND's Student Athlete Scholarships. Mingle with coaches and students. Dance to Minneapolis band Power of 10. And bid on exclusive UND auction items. UND Champions Ball, Saturday, April 25th at the Alaris Center. Get your tickets now by visiting undalumni.org/championsball.
We play to win, but it's bigger than winning. It's about authenticity, being true to yourself, genuine dreams and a country big enough to fit them, values and hard work, giving your best and giving back, working together, building a tradition bigger than any one of us, and showing the world every day who we are and how we play. We're Big Sky. We are the heart of the American West.
UND Insider Weekly is sponsored by Shields and Grand Forks Cities Area Transit.
Warm temperatures have come early, which comes at a perfect time as spring football activities are getting ready to get underway. Running back coach Kevin Maurice joins us in the Coach's Corner. Kevin, welcome to the show. Nice of you to drop by.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Is this a little more normalcy to this season as you get ready for spring football, obviously, than last year?
You know what? The weather helps, and and coming into this year, we have better numbers than last year, and I think we have positive momentum from last year's success, winning the last 2 games of the season, and I think it's going to be good carryover, and I think we're going to have a positive outlook to spring.
You had an opportunity last year to have several different guys to start with that got weeded out as you went along. Would you rather have, obviously, a more stable situation at running back where this is our guy, then this guy's after him, or?
The way I look at our position in our meeting room is, ideally we see ourselves as a unit. So I don't particularly look at one guy as the bell cow. But however, you'll like that special guy in that room where you can depend on him through and through. But it's college football, and the kids are there for a reason. If we put a kid on scholarship, we want them to contribute some way, somehow. So if I can have 3 running backs and they can produce at least 2,000 yards as a whole, then we're doing our jobs as coaches.
DeMarco Murray's available.
No doubt.
And you have some new guys in that mix. Obviously, towards the end of last year, Jared Garman kind of took on the role of go-to running back. How are you seeing some of the future candidates to have that Garman role play out right now? Okay, well, I tell you what, Jared did a good job of just buying into what we're selling as coaches. And I had a couple cornerstones that I, try to instill into our guys, and he's a reflection on those cornerstones that I instituted within my running backs, and he set the standard. So going into this year, our running backs, they see the success Jared's having. They see that CFL teams are after him, so they want to achieve those goals. And I think if we set the standards high for the running backs, just by the success of Jer, I think it's going to carry over into something positive.
Mid-year guys, we're going to have about 9 new guys here for spring ball. One of them is a running back from the UAB program that was disbanded late last year. Juwan Arrington, he's a guy that you got to figure is going to be in the mix there. Just tell us a little bit about what Juwan brings to the table.
What Juwan brings is something I call an upper half Big Sky player. The type of player that's going to help us beat Montana State, and what helps with Juwan is he has Division I FBS experience. I mean, he played against the Arkansas. He played against some of the top teams in the South, and he's a big running back. We like to run the football. I believe he ran the ball 456 times. Not saying he's going to carry the ball 456 times, but he's going to get a good chunk, But however, I would like for Juwan to work into that role, and he's here for a reason, and we're going to make sure we utilize his abilities.
I was a football SID for Kevin Smith. He carried it 450 times one season. That was a lot for him at UCF.
How about the offense as a whole? There were so many moving parts last year, and you kind of banged up down the stretch. Do you feel like you guys can be in a better place, whether it's spring ball here or in fall camp, as far as kind of being more set and more proven in your spots?
No, absolutely. I just think what helped us is the success we had the last couple of games of the season. All right, and then we have a lot of guys coming back on offense. And then what's pretty neat is, about the off season, the winter season and everything is, guys can go to work, and we have film now they can reflect on. As coaches, we have film that we can reflect upon. And believe it or not, just looking at the film, there's little things that's going to make us better, and those little things we're going to work on in the spring. And ideally, you would hope that we learn from our mistakes, and we'll go on from there, and then we'll learn from our success, and then continue that success based off the film that we watch.
Kevin, when do you start?
We start on the 27th.
27th.
Yep.
Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
Kevin Maurice is the running back coach at University of North Dakota football team. And after the break, men's hockey has its conference tournament. Both baseball and softball start conference play. And we'll break them all down next.
Watch over 400 live events with the free Watch Big Sky app. Not able to travel with your team? Watch road games from home. Use the extensive archive to catch up on any action you may have missed. Watch Big Sky is available on your phone or tablet. Get it now on the Apple App Store or Google Play. WatchBigSky.com.
Mattson is so confident right now that the second he gives it up, he's yelling for it back. Like, it's not even on his stick, shifted over to Paul, and he's yelling, Paul, 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 Paul.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Cities Area Transit. We go where you go.
Did you know that riding the city bus is free for UND and Northland students?
I ride the bus so I don't have to find a parking spot, and then I'm always within an easy walking distance to all of my classes.
I'm going green, so I ride my bike everywhere. But when the weather turns bad, I take the bus. And why not? It's free.
Cities Area Transit. Enjoy the ride.
UND Insider is your video home for the best content this spring. Get complete coverage from men's hockey playoffs, including interviews, breakdowns, and more, to nearly 20 live baseball and softball games this spring. Sign up today at undsports.com/insider. Plus, follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/UND Athletics and on Twitter at UND Insider. You can follow us everywhere, guys. Following us down to the Target Center, Minneapolis, this weekend for the NCHC Frozen Faceoff tournament. North Dakota and St. Cloud State kicks it off on Friday late afternoon, followed by Denver and Miami. And your thoughts first, Brad, about that tournament. And does anybody need to win that tournament? Maybe St. Cloud?
St. Cloud needs to win one game for sure. If they get beat twice this weekend, they will be ineligible for the NCAA tournament. Even though they're number 9 in the pairwise right now, they really shot up last night. If they lost twice, they would fall back down, I think, anyways. But yeah, they need to be over 500. I do think they could, if they lose the semifinal game and tie the third place game, which is a possibility. That game would end in a tie if it were tied, that could help get them in too. So it'll be really interesting. But they're pretty attractive matchups, I think. You have in the first semifinal the two teams that have won the Penrose Cup the last 2 years, and the other one's a rematch of last year's Frozen Faceoff Championship. So a couple of good matchups for the fans.
Tom, biggest problem for UND in this tournament, what do you think?
Biggest problem for UND in this tournament, I think.
St. Cloud State?
You know, they're going to be playing some desperate teams. Maybe that's the problem. UND is a team that will be in the Fargo Regional probably no matter what happens here. And you're playing against teams that have maybe a whole lot more to play for. UND probably found that out Saturday when you play against Colorado College, that playing against a very hungry team is going to be difficult no matter what. So UND is probably going to have to match that kind of intensity and kind of create it from within, not based on scenarios that could affect them the rest of the postseason.
Certainly discipline's going to come in order, be a big part of it for North Dakota. They can't go into the penalty box, Brad, because St. Cloud State's power play is, I think, as good as any in the league, whether the numbers show it or not. I think how they execute it, I think it's the best one we've seen.
I do too, and the numbers do show it. I think they are the best percentage in the league, and they really move the puck well on the power play. Callie Kosala wins a lot of faceoffs, so they start with the puck a lot on the power play too, and Johnny Bredzinski can shoot the puck as well as anyone in the league, and so you really want to deny him shots. You want to make him move the puck to other guys because he can score from anywhere, when he winds up and shoots. And unfortunately for UND, it was his shot that cut McMillan's season short. So it'll be an interesting game. I thought UND really was dominant the last time they played them in that sweep, and it was pretty convincing. And St. Cloud didn't, put much of a fight up in that one. I think it'll be different this time, and this is our first time seeing UND play them without McMillan.
Denver and Miami. I think it's the goaltending, and that game comes down to who has a better goaltender that day.
That's a question mark, I think, for both teams. Yeah. I think both teams have been. Neither team knows who their number one goaltender is right now. They've been switching them up a little bit. I'm curious to see how much playing Western Michigan wears on Miami. They had a 3-game series against the most physical team in the league. Playing that style, they do have several days off to rest here, but that can wear on you a little bit.
Watched a little bit of the third game of that series, and Western didn't seem real physical on that one. Like they were beating on anybody or anything like that. The women's basketball team will be at the WBI as we speak, playing New Mexico, and softball starts their conference play at Weber State, and I think some good things, Ryan, have happened for that squad early in the season, don't you think?
Absolutely. Young team needs confidence, and I think that's what they've gotten. They won 3 of 4 in their last time out at the Miami Ohio Invitational, put up some runs. They scored, I think, 31 runs in that weekend, so that's a lot, and they're hitting the long ball, and it's making it exciting. And I mean, when girls are allowed to kind of let loose and just go at it, I think it's
take a rip at it.
Yep, absolutely.
And baseball opens their conference season, the WAC, their first year in the WAC, right? Right.
Year 2.
Second.
Is this second year? Okay. Yeah. Grand Canyon was one of the teams that they came in at the same time, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun to watch that UND team play in the conference season all year long, because they got as good of a 3-man starting rotation, I think, that is in the WAC with Tome Muckenhern and Alex Twangy. So they should keep them in a lot of games.
All right. Looking forward to it all. And coming up, it is poised to be a big weekend for a lot of the panel, and we'll find out what they're looking forward to the most coming up next.
UND Insider Weekly is sponsored by Shields and Grand Forks Cities Area Transit.
Join us for the UND Champions Ball, benefiting UND student-athlete scholarships. Mingle with coaches and students. Dance to Minneapolis band Power of 10. And bid on exclusive UND auction items. UND Champions Ball, Saturday, April 25th at the Alaris Center. Get your tickets now by visiting undalumni.org/championsball. Welcome back to Insider Weekly. So what are we looking forward to this weekend, guys? Let's start with Tom now.
I'm looking forward to a early start on Friday night at the NCHC tournament. No deadline pressure. I don't have any excuses for messing up what I'm writing.
Don't give me the deadline pressure. You just want to get to the clubs. Right?
Yeah, well, whatever it may be. 4 o'clock, I'm excited about that.
Brad?
You know, it's the second year of this tournament. It's not quite the same as the Final Five, but I thought last year's event was a great event, and a lot of people had fun down there, and it's always a good time at the conference tournament. So I'm looking forward to going down there again. I think the atmosphere will be even better this year, the second year, and with St. Cloud there. So
yeah, I think you have to build to that.
You do.
That's what St. Paul had, right?
It's March Madness, whether it's hockey or basketball. Just this time of year is so exciting for college athletics, and a lot of big games, a lot of tournaments, and it's going to be a fun weekend.
I'm looking forward to see the attendance figures at the Xcel Energy Center compared to Target Center this weekend, the WCHA at the Xcel Energy Center.
Could be ugly.
All right, thanks, guys. Catch an all-new episode of UND Insider Weekly in 2 weeks on April 1st at 8 p.m. on UNDsports.com and Friday, April 3rd at 5 on Midco Sportsnet.